Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your December 2015 love reading. It's Rena here, and I've picked some very nice cards for you, but also cards that seem to suggest that the month of December is a significant month for you, at least when it comes to your romantic life, if this is what you've been looking for. Now, to kind of clarify the situation, remember that these are general readings, and so I cannot possibly connect with every one of you. When I do personal readings, I take your birth data and I combine it with a personal spread. And I find that this works out very well because I can look at some of your patterns, your traits, in terms of the way that you love. And I do that with the astrological information. And then I use the divination energy that is present in the tarot and combine that for a more well rounded reading that is tailored for you specifically. So if you'd like something like that, you can click on the link below. They are $19 through the end of the year. If you want me to briefly look at another person and how he or she connects with you, that's $22. And I would like to have at least the person's birth date, if not the birthplace or exact time of birth. And it's not an extensive report, it's just kind of looking at a few factors. So, getting back to the month of December, the card that I picked to describe the state of mind that you're in as we begin the month of December, I got the Magician card. And I look at this as the card of the conscious co creator. You could call him or her the alchemist, really. And that was one of the keywords in Anthony Lewis's Tarot Plain and Simple book that I use as a reference guide. And it's interesting because above the magician is a symbol of infinity that is a sideways eight. And we are in an eight universal year. Eight is the number of manifestation on the material level. So, whether this is playing out for you in terms of your career, your business, or if you have been doing some law of attraction work, maybe visualization, writing down what you want, vision boards, and you have manifested somebody into your life that is really on your level, that is really vibing with you, then this card would kind of indicate that. It's definitely a card of self empowerment, any way you slice it. So it's a very positive card to start out the month. Three out of the five cards that I picked were major arcana cards, which suggests that this is a particularly important month for you, the last month of the year. And so the second card that I picked as the reason for you being a conscious co creator was the Nine of Wands. So, why are you in such a good place? Well, the Nine of Wands is all about strength. And I kind of wonder if it connects with the Strength card in the Major Arcana. But it's a defensive posture, but it's a very vigorous posture. It's almost like a soldier in a lot of ways. And so maybe you've had some sort of battle in the past that you've had to kind of duke out, and you realize that a lot of what was happening was because you believed that life was a struggle. And now, as the magician, you know you don't have to fight the current. You can actually flow and make things happen easier for you. But it's very interesting how we get conditioned into a certain mindset. And it can even lead us to pick certain partners because we don't trust the very people who accept us and who love us for who we are. I always think of that line by Woody Allen. I wouldn't belong to a club that would have me as a member. How many people think like that? A lot of people. And it's very sad. It really is. Because the lack of self love leads to picking those people that will mirror all of the negative things that you feel about yourself. And that is a very sorry place to be. Now, the message from the universe is the World card. So, this is about attainment. This is about the fact that you have ended a cycle. And I feel that in the relationship sector, that you are on the upswing of understanding exactly what you want by understanding what you don't want. And so it's like that's done and now I'm moving on. And the cardinal signs, of which Cancer is one of them, have had kind of a rough go of it. I would say that at least the last 5 years, because of all the outer planet activity that has also been in cardinal signs. For instance, Pluto in Capricorn, which is your opposite sign. And so it's really challenging your very nature, your very sense of self. And so you should give yourself a pat on the back for having survived it. And now you're ready to start anew. Even though there still are some of these long range transits, I think that things have been shaken up so much for you guys that you're starting to kind of flow with it more. And I really believe that the cardinal signs need this because they tend to be very controlling and wanting power over their environment, but it has to come on the inner level rather than trying to control people and things. And so when you get these long range transits, everything kind of gets blown to smithereens and you begin to rely on the inner strength that you have, which is kind of represented by that Nine of Wands. But this is definitely a time to rejoice and to realize that you're going into the next phase and to possibly get a reward of some sort. Maybe this has to do with your career or something on that level. The advice to take is the Knight of Pentacles, and this is kind of a workhorse energy. So, for those of you who are in between relationships, maybe this is just the time in which you're going to do your work and not worry about a relationship at the moment because you have things to offer the world, gifts and comfort in your own way that nobody else can provide. And the only way that you can have the time for this is if you dedicate time for it. And it's really sad when people get addicted to relationships as well as other kinds of addictions because they tend to ignore or neglect their own personal projects and goals in favor of this other person. And a lot of times people will shy away from those who are feeling incomplete. They would rather be with somebody who has a sense of holistic alignment. I don't know if that's a good way of putting it, but if you come to a relationship with a sense of lack, if it's on the emotional level or if it's on the material level, then you're starting off on the wrong foot. So buckle down, build up your resources. The pentacles relate to material resources, and also build up your inner reserve, and then you will be a whole being. And the outcome card is the Fool card, and this is one of my favorite cards. I don't know how many Cancers would agree with me though, because Cancer is all about security at the end of the day. And this is something that you have to kind of work with. I was going to say rebel against, but that's not really a good idea either. I would say work with that tendency and don't be too foolhardy, which is the shadow aspect of the Fool card, but have faith in the unknown. Don't need everything guaranteed to you in advance because the outcome could be a very safe, secure, and utterly sterile existence. And there's a sense of adventure with the Fool card. And I think that you guys are going on an adventure. It's an adventure of love, but it's loving life itself, not just loving another person. Will you find this person in the month of December, Cancer? Look to the full moon that is happening on December 25th because it will be in your sign. And that triggers the polarity with the seventh house of the other in the sign of Capricorn. So that might be a time when the sparks fly, which will happen to be on Christmas Day. And otherwise, be that co creator of the magician and really sit down with yourself. Give yourself the time to visualize the type of person that you're looking for. Don't settle for less and enjoy the fool's journey. Enjoy the deliciousness of not knowing in advance everything that's about to happen. And I think you're going to have a great time. So take care, Cancer. I wish you the best in December. Bye.